No, maybe. Oh, don't mind me. I'm just going over future job ideas because I just graduated high school, and after that, I can get any job I want. But right now, I'm having a really tough decision breaking this down. I'm stuck between three last options. I want something that's going to gravitate towards me, something that reflects the person who I am. I know. Quick, before Diavolo and his gang find out! Okay, now that that's settled with, we're gonna have to find out how I'm gonna be able to turn into a gang star. First, we're gonna need inspiration to work off of. Now, Giorno Giovanna is gonna be the main topic fold of this video. We're gonna find out how great of a character he is and why some people don't really like him as much. Without further ado, this is the character breakdown analysis of Giorno Giovanna. Well, let's talk about his backstory. Giorno's early life is rather sad. His mother was never around. She'd often neglect her responsibilities as a parent and left Giorno alone as a child, presumably partying. His father was absent for his entire life. I'll discuss that a little bit later. As for his stepfather, he'd often physically abused Giorno. As for the rest of the community, it definitely was not better. The children were just total pricks to him. However, one day, things changed after Giorno saved a mob member. A mob member? I guess he's kind of a mob member, but whatever. Anyway, he saved his life from an ongoing chase, and to owe it to him, things secretly behind the scenes just got better for Giorno. Obviously, there's probably threats along the way. But yeah, his stepdad just stopped beating him, the kids were just way too nice to him, and all thanks to this mysterious mob leader, presumably he was the leader. Inspired by this, Giorno wants to become a gangstar ever since at that very young age. Frankly, this is one of my favorite main JoJo backstories. Not only is it interesting and unique, it explains how Giorno gained such calm confidence. And dude, he had black hair. That's pretty cool. I'll explain that part a little bit later. Through many people's opinions that I've seen at least, many think that Giorno's just a boring and bland character with little to no personality. Well, yes, he's no Joseph Joestar energy-wise, but that isn't necessarily a bad thing. Frankly, since Part 5 has much more of a serious plot, it would be extremely off-putting if Giorno started acting overly upbeat. It just wouldn't fit the overall tone properly. I think the best way to appreciate Giorno is not by his words per se, but his actions. I'd like to bring up an earlier incident with Invento Arreo. Remember Giorno being in school? No, yeah, kinda thought so. I sort of forgot about that myself. When his initiation test is being held, he desperately is scurrying to his dorm. Meanwhile, everyone, including a janitor, I'll talk about him a little bit later, asks Giorno for help. Obviously, Giorno's like, fuck off, my gang life is more important, and to be honest, at this current point in the story, it really is. And obviously, no, he doesn't say anything. He pretty much just ignores everybody for the time being. Is it me though, or do I feel like Giorno was definitely one to help out his fellow classmates if obviously there was an extreme scenario at hand? This is a huge assumption, but why ask someone for help if you don't think they would care in the first place? I don't know, there's really no evidence to this one, but I just get some really cool, good Samaritan Chad vibes, and if you don't know what a Chad is, just look it up. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Yes, about that janitor guy. Well, if you like him, then too bad. He's the geezer who relit the cigarette and gets destroyed. Giorno is outright furious. Innocent bystanders that aren't even involved should not be harmed. He, alongside Koichi, our boy. Oh my god, that wasn't in the script. Okay, let's do this again. He, alongside Koichi, defeat Black Sabbath. But once returning to Popo after the initiation test, for extra measure of revenge, he turns and kills him. I actually really like this scene within Part 5. I want to go into detail in a future video about this, but he literally murders him after he was going on all about trust. It's very ironic. But if something went wrong while turning his gun into a banana, let's just say Giorno is is as good as dead, and Bruno is screwed because he did recommend him in the first place. He's willing to risk killing a powerful capo just in order to avenge some random old janitor who we really don't get much backstory or context. Now that's some Jonathan Joestar levels of chivalry, but the way he executed this idea was in such a Dio-like manner. Oh gee, I wonder why this is the case. Oh yeah, because Dio and Jonathan are technically his father. This was of course when Dio took Jonathan's body. Okay, aside from that, when I found this out, I thought it was extremely cool. I don't know, Araki always impresses me. You think after part 3, the logical step would have been to continue the story with Jotaro's child, which he did 3 parts later. I really like this approach. It keeps everything fresh and new. In this case, we get the ultimate combination of 2 iconic JoJo characters. As I stated before, personality-wise, he takes a bit of Dio and a little bit from Jonathan. Well, I'll list off a few quick examples. Okay, for Dio, he bribes many police officers. Definitely something Dio would do, since Dio is a bit of a manipulator. An example that he takes from Jonathan. He has good and honest intentions, and ultimately puts himself before others, like in the notorious B.I.G. fight, where he sacrifices his arms to stop the enemy. In this case, he can't use golden experience without his arms. Also, speaking of gold experience, that nature theme is sort of like Hamun. Okay, another thing that he does take from Dio personality-wise is his calm and charismatic demeanor. This could be seen in a lot of one-on-one confrontations, and this is a perfect example when he's talking to Bruno in the beginning of part 5. Oh, and I mentioned this before, he used to have dark hair, and now, obviously when he grew up, he got blonde hair, which was Dio's genes, I guess, kicking in? I don't know, I found that really cool when I was watching part 5. Also, how could we forget? He does the 7-page Muda. That is probably one of the best JoJo beatdowns of all time. That is definitely something he does take from Dio. I mean, what else can I say? He's one of the most overpowered characters in pretty much the entire series. Not gonna go over that because I don't want to spoil anything, but still, that's just amazing. Okay, before I wrap things up, I'm gonna just throw out a few thoughts beforehand. I think there's just a lot of misunderstandings about Giorno as a character. While he's not my favorite JoJo now, Johnny Joestar, he definitely was up there. He still is up there, but he's not the top dog anymore, I guess you could say. Also, I do understand there will be people out there who just overall don't like those kind of quiet characters that Giorno definitely embodies, and that is 100% fine. I think the thing to get out of this is that he tried something new, Araki. It was just a great risk, and for some people it paid off, and for others perhaps not. I mean, Giorno's kind of the closest thing, perhaps Johnny, actually, Johnny's kind of an anti-hero, but yeah, he's kind of the closest thing to an anti-hero. And while obviously Giorno is not an anti-hero because he has good intentions all throughout, but I really wouldn't say the stereotypical hero wants to be a gang leader. And by the way, I'm recording this last part in retrospect after I finished editing most of the video around 8 o'clock in the morning. I just want to say a few thoughts. I actually really appreciate Giorno even more by the end of the video. Obviously I had to get a lot of clips and I got more of a feel for the character. I think by seeing his actions once again, just reviewing everything, you just grow much more of an appreciation, and you notice the little subtle nuances that you didn't notice beforehand. Overall, it was a really fun video to work on. Well, hopefully I was able to convince you on why Giorno Giovanna is an amazing character within the JoJo series. But there was always one thing that kind of irked me. Where did he go at the end of part 5? We don't really get too much closure afterwards. What's that? Oh, you have something to give me? Just 1 second. Let's see, what does this say? Let's see, Giorno Dio's children. Giorno's in Florida?